Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, so this is dated June 26, 2023 from Radar. Can listen to the article as well if you want to. The lawsuit filed by a former Scientologist against leader David Miscavige, along with the man alleged to have sexually assaulted her, lays bare policies written by the church founder L. Ron Hubbard. It's about time. Which the victim says allows crimes to be covered up. How about that, LAPD? Right there in black and white. In the 38-page complaint obtained, let's see, 38. 38 is one of the murder numbers, but, I'm just noting that. Obtained by Radar Online, Jane Doe claims child sexual assault by a top church executive. Was hushed up by the controversial religious organization. According to the plaintiff, the Church of Scientology is no exception to the serious problems with child abuse and the sexual exploitation of children that have engulfed religious institutions like the Catholic Church. The Church of Scientology International's aggressive practices and rules forcing secrecy upon all members. That's called when the children get sexually assaulted, the child is told that they're out 2D, which means two-dimensional, which is the sexual aspect. It's their fault for getting essayed. Upon all members have kept victims from coming forward, even longer than abuse victims. Yeah, and how about all the ones that are locked up inside those buildings right now as we speak, in the hotels? Like the Darkest Hotel? Even longer than abuse victims in other religious institutions. Facts. Such as the Catholic Church or the Jehovah's Witnesses, the lawsuit alleged. Yet like those religious institutions, religious affiliation and doctrines do not provide a license for child abuse or sexual assault. Bam! I hope this sets the precedent. I really do. And the walls come tumbling down. As this website previously reported, Jane Doe was also one of the victims of Hollywood star and now convicted rapist and druggist Danny Masterson, who in May was found guilty by a jury of rape. In her explosive lawsuit, the woman who was born into Scientology, she's a second gen, in 1974, and at age 14, said she became a member of the Sea organization, a secret sect of the church which requires members to sign a billion-year pledge. Why are they choosing this language? Inquiring minds want to know. They want to say secret sect. They want to say pledge to symbolize their eternal commitment to the religion. Yeah, they always talk about their eternity. It was in the Sea Org where Jane Doe met her alleged abuser, a veteran Scientologist named Gavin Potter. He was a manager, by the way. Potter. I believe it was San Francisco, California. Potter later married the woman. Oh, this is a new one, you guys. This is something that I haven't seen. Because he sexually assaulted someone else as well. Potter later married the woman, what she said was a forced marriage, orchestrated by the church. What I've been telling you guys, it's time to wake up. Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey, everybody. Lottie, dottie, and everybody. The first time Gavin Potter sexually assaulted Jane Doe. This is a thing in Scientology. He leaned over in her car and kissed her on the mouth. Because apparently he can't get it any like a natural way, like really fine men can. Men that are just pure alpha. They don't have to force anybody to do anything. At the time of the first encounter, Jane Doe had never had a boyfriend or done anything of a sexual nature with anyone. Sick. So what did the church do? They forced her to marry him. More illegalities. More crimes. In one encounter, she said she was in the driver's seat of a car when Potter, in the passenger seat, began fondling her blank over her clothes. That's a real thing they do. I've heard this several times. Before putting her hand, I think they meant his, before putting his hand up her skirt. Gavin Potter then digitally, I don't want to go too far. You guys can guess. The lawsuit alleged. Jane Doe was fearful and physically uncomfortable but could not move. That's sick. The digital, you know what, continued, at which point Jane Doe looked over and noticed that Gavin Potter had a blank blank on the blank of his pants. Jane Doe did not understand at the time that I can't read it. So the assault continued, and then she proceeded to drive him home. Sick, just so sick. According to the lawsuit, which was filed by lawyer Graham Barry, bam, Graham Barry in the house, Scientologists are expressly prohibited from contacting the police. Listen to that, LAPD. I'll bet that's all news to you, isn't it? I'm going to repeat it just in case you didn't hear it. Expressly prohibited from contacting the police or other emergency responders to report any crime. Isn't that illegal, LAPD? Harboring felons, harboring criminals, not reporting crimes. To report any crime committed by any member, especially on the children, LAPD. Isn't that wonderful? Policy exists within Scientology. This is the one they're going for. A policy exists within Scientology called ethics protection, which details why it is okay for the church to take no action when criminal acts occur. LAPD, how about that? Isn't that wild? Or how about you, Clearwater Police, Denver Police, Boston Police? And more alarmingly, why the act of reporting such a crime to church officials or authorities is considered a high crime, subject to punishment, Barry detailed. Wow, LAPD, Clearwater Police. Scientologists consider it a high crime to report real crime. Wow. All those children trying to commit suicide on themselves. Lisa McPherson. All the suicides. All the mysterious deaths that don't appear to be murders. Or they don't appear to be suicides. The prohibition of members from contacting authorities, listen to this is really important here, is so strictly enforced that phones within some Church of Scientology international facilities, that's the one in heaven, in case you didn't know, it's in heaven. You know, the one with the Constantine wire over it, are reportedly disabled from dialing 911. Isn't that another crime? LAPD. Especially where those children are locked up. Members are not allowed to make any calls. Members would include children, you guys, just so everyone's clear. Without first utilizing a code so that each call may be tracked. Not everyone has a code. So they're prohibiting 911 or ambulances to come in if there's an emergency. Kind of like what's going on at the Blue Building right now as we speak. Barry added the Church of Scientology instructs its membership, that includes children, the only answer to a crime being committed by its members, including rape, LAPD. Listen to this. Rape. That's a crime. Sexual abuse. Crime. Or child abuse. Child neglect. Child sexual abuse, child sexual assault, is Scientology and the teachings of Hubbard, not law enforcement. Going to read that again. Barry added the Church of Scientology instructs its membership, let's remember the membership is children as well, the only answer to a crime being committed by its members, including rape, we're talking about children as well, sexual abuse or child abuse, is Scientology. So wait, I was kind of slow. I didn't really do that well in algebra. Does that mean that if a child was raped inside the Scientology building, that she has to go back to the arbitrators or the people who, or perhaps the person who raped her, to be arbitrated and asked for some type of forgiveness for being raped? I kind of think that's how it goes. If senior officials in the Religious Technology Center, Church of Scientology International, that's in Hemet. For anybody that doesn't know, that's the Hemet. That's that big, huge, compound where they have Constantine wire. And then they even have underground tunnels underneath the roads, so the Scientologists don't even have to cross the roads, so nobody can see them. Especially if they try to escape, they've got it fixed so people can't escape. If senior officials in the Religious Technology Center, Church of Scientology International, Sea Org, or any other Scientology organization received credible evidence that child sexual abuse had occurred, wait for this, you guys, within the church, the officials covered up the incident rather than report the abuse to local authorities, the lawsuit said. Or also, too, in the cases where there were crimes that were reported to the LAPD just said, oh, the statute of limitations is over, or they always had an answer to not pursue it, even though Danny Masterson was found guilty. In most instances, any alleged perpetrator of child abuse or sexual abuse was simply moved to a different Scientology base or location. It continued. Well, and by the way, just, for some people are like, they don't know how to connect this dot to the next dot. And then, you got the other dot, and then the dot goes here, and then the dot goes there. It's also happening now. Because guess what? Their policies that they used back in these days for these sexual assaults, especially in the auditing, they're still using the same policies. So R-ing children is like super fine. It's okay. So the child gets told they're out 2D, which, I'll break it down. In Scientology terms, 2D means two-dimensional, which is the sexual plane. Hubbard was just making shit up. So when the child gets R-ed by the grown-ass man or the grown woman, they're told that they're out 2D, and then they're usually made to go into the child prison. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah. And the perpetrator usually gets moved, and then he goes on to further abuse other children, and it gets covered up more. Yeah. Isn't that wonderful? Sometimes the alleged perpetrator was sent to the RPF. Yeah, just what I said. Let's not forget the child RPF. The Rehabilitation Project Force. Scientology's program for members of its Sea Org. Oh yeah, 9-year-olds go into the Sea Org too. Just to clear that one up. Who have allegedly violated expectations or policies. Thought police. Stay in line. Stay in line. You're not allowed to have your own thoughts. Or be, if you talk about someone who raped you, you're going to get punished. Other times, no action was taken, the suit claimed. Victims, however, are blamed for pulling in the abuse upon themselves and are forced to either apologize, talked about this over and over, to their abuser. Isn't that great, you guys? The child has to apologize to the pedophile for causing the assault or undergo a program to learn how they caused the assault. Yeah, none of the prestigious executives knew anything about anything, did they? Birds of a feather. Thought it was never going to come out, didn't you? But it's coming out now. Where are you going to hide now? The lawsuit went on to allege the church recorded vast amounts of information. Yes, and they're doing it right now, too. Collected and recorded during auditing, the process during which the church says its members travel to higher states of spiritual awareness. Yeah, for the right price, you guys. For the right price, anyone can reach these higher states of spiritual awareness, which on the outside world, by the way, is free. Just so you know, it's free, free, free. By answering exact sets of questions, that's the auditing, asked of directions given by an auditor to help a person locate areas of spiritual distress. It is highly likely that defendants, who, let's remember they were children when these things happened, have countless pieces of evidence. Look at that, you guys. Evidence. How you like us now, Scientology? There's lots of evidence. It's just a piling up all over the place. Describing child sexual abuse, both by the perpetrators and the victims. And it's happening right now as we speak. That made me cry. According to the lawsuit. So I will leave the link in the description. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.